Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources. Updating daily at 6 a.m. New York.
Washington Post World.
June 7, 5:18 America, New York. Lebanese army arrests 64 migrants trying to sail to Europe. The Lebanese army says it has thwarted an attempt by scores of migrants to sail to Europe aboard a boat from northern Lebanon.
Mirror World News.
June 7, 5 o'clock America, New York. Vladimir Putin crony calls West B*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************Disappear, in chilling threat. Former President Dmitry Medvedev, who is now the deputy head of the Kremlin Security Council, has hit out at those in the West who want death to Russia in a veiled threat.
Mirror World News.
June 7, 4:44 America, New York. Sailor attacked by killer whales, fighting like dogs as he feared yacht would rip apart. Matt Johnston was sailing near the Portuguese shore when the killer whales attacked his yacht, like Labradors fighting over a treat, causing £10,000 in damages to the boat.
BBC News World.
June 7, 4:26 America, New York, Ukraine. Severodonetsk and Lysychansk have no people on the streets. Zelensky. The Ukrainian president says there are no civilians on the streets in Severodonetsk and Lysychansk.
New York Times World News.
June 7, 4:15 America, New York. Johnson emerges vulnerable to plotting by rival conservatives. Prime Minister Boris Johnson of Britain last month. Washington Post World.
June 7, 3:37 America, New York. Dubai police arrest two in South African corruption case. Dubai police say they have arrested two brothers from the Gupta family wanted in connection with a corruption case involving former South African President Jacob Zuma, the latest high-profile extradition case involving the United Arab Emirates.
Mirror World News.
June 7, 3:28 America, New York. Novichok poisoner linked to Putin hit squad, vanishes and may have been assassinated. Kremlin agent Konstantin Kudratsev, suspected of being behind the attempted hit on Vladimir Putin's political foe Alexei Navalny, has vanished.
New York Times World News.
June 7, 3:06 America, New York. Fiji hands over superyacht that U.S. says is tied to Russian oligarch. The handover of the Almadia is the latest development in a global effort to seize the assets of oligarchs with ties to Russia's president. The superyacht Almadia docked in Lautoka, Fiji, in April.
New York Times World News.
June 7, 3 o'clock America, New York. The museum was built so no one would forget. Now it's falling apart. Organizers at the Monument of Heroes in the Philippines are racing to preserve documents related to the Marcos regime before the dictator's son takes office. Visitors at the Monument of Heroes, a museum in the Philippines dedicated to victims of martial law.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines. Sky News. June 7, 2:54 America, New York. Every minute counts. Sister of missing British journalist in Brazil urges action. The sister of a British journalist missing in one of the remotest corners of the Amazon has made a tearful plea to the Brazilian authorities to do all they can in the search to find her brother. Warning: every minute counts. Dom Phillips.
Washington Post World.
June 7, 2:01 America, New York. Russia-Ukraine war live updates. Severodonetsk is dead, Zelensky says. Moscow rebuked at UN for fueling food crisis. Zelensky said Ukraine could reclaim Severodonetsk, but conditions have worsened for fighters defending the key city.
RT World News.
June 7, 1:32 America, New York. U.S. issues nuclear warning to North Korea. A top State Department official said, the entire world would react harshly to any nuclear test by Pyongyang.
BBC News World.
June 7, 1:01 America, New York. War in Ukraine. Wounded but eager to go back to fight. Ukrainian soldiers are returning from home with horrendous injuries, often requiring prosthetics.
BBC News World.
June 7, 007 America, New York. Veteran British journalist Dom Phillips missing in Amazon. The journalist was traveling with a Brazilian indigenous expert in Brazil when they went missing.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines. Sky News. June 6, 2313 America, New York. Russia begins handing over remains of Mariupol fighters as side swap 320 bodies. Russia has begun handing over the remains of Ukrainian fighters killed in the Azovstal steelworks, the scene of the last stand in the battle for Mariupol. A View shows destroyed facilities of Azovstal iron and steel works during Ukraine-Russia conflict in the southern port city of Mariupol, Ukraine, May 22, 2022. World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
June 6, 2313 America, New York. Ukraine's northern axis facing shelling as Russia begins handing over remains of Mariupol fighters. Reports of heavy shelling near Izum in the east of Ukraine suggests Russia is preparing to make a renewed effort on the northern axis, Britain's defense ministry has said. A View shows destroyed facilities of Azovstal iron and steel works during Ukraine-Russia conflict in the southern port city of Mariupol, Ukraine, May 22, 2022.
RT World News.
June 6, 2255 America, New York. Taser clarifies proposal for armed drones in U.S. schools. The company backpedaled after the idea prompted a spate of resignations from an internal ethics board.
Wall Street Journal World News.
June 6, 2213 America, New York. Brazilian Navy searches for missing British journalist in Amazon. Dom Phillips, who is writing a book about the Amazon, was last seen with indigenous expert Bruno Pereira Sunday morning in the Javari Valley, a vast territory plagued by illegal logging, mining and poaching.